And welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, everyone. I am here with coach of Marcos de Niza High School, Anthony Figueroa. How are you doing today, coach?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. I just wanted to talk a little bit about last season and what you guys have coming up for this upcoming season. So last year in 2022, obviously you guys had a great year, went 9-2 overall, but didn't get to your goal of the state championship. Could you kind of summarize that season a little bit and then kind of go into um, what kind of went on in those playoffs? Sorry, I got a phone call right there.
Uh, you know, I'll start from the playoff game. I don't want anything to take away from the season that we had. Obviously, it didn't end the way that we wanted to, and at the end of the day, there's really only one team that's going to be happy, right?
Yeah.
So, we can dwell on that, or we can look at all of the positive things that happened, in that season. So I choose to look at that experience as just a wonderful experience with a bunch of guys that really wanted it and did everything in their power to make sure that we were taking care of business, in the classroom and on the field and relationships with each other. And that group, they started something here. That was my third year, and in most cases, the third year is that year that really kind of tells, anybody about the head coach and that program, because more often than not, that's that coach's group at that point. And so they did a wonderful job of building relationships, representing this program the right way on and off the field, and it spoke volumes, by the way that they were able to perform throughout the season. And we hadn't had a season like that in at least 8 or 9 years, and can't be anything but proud of what we were able to accomplish last year.
And you guys are obviously really close to the upcoming season, less than a month away. How has the training camp been going, and what have you guys been doing to prepare for this upcoming year and hopefully get back to where you were last year?
We had a great off season. It doesn't end with us. We have a lot of our guys. I'd say about 80% of our guys run track.
Mhm.
And so those guys were doing everything in their power to make sure that they were prepared for this upcoming season. So it started then, led into the spring season and with spring ball, great numbers, great attendance. And obviously went into summer and same thing. Guys were reliable. They worked really, really hard. To speak on your previous question, they had a nasty taste in their mouth. The juniors did, you
Yeah.
know. That Monday after our loss on that Friday in the playoffs, the juniors we worked out in the morning, and I was going to give them about a couple weeks of a break, and they said
Mhm.
no, and they wanted to lift on that Monday, and so we initially started the 2023 season that Monday following that playoff loss. And so these guys have been grinding. They worked really hard all summer. We had a great camp up at Camp Shadow Pines, fostering relationships, because when there's a lot of highs and lows in football, so we have to
Yeah.
really lean on our relationships with one another to get us through, because it's a grind. So they did a really good job of forming relationships, and obviously we are going to get it with them on the X's and the O's, but can't be any more prouder of the way that they've worked throughout this offseason. Now it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more distractions, obviously, when school starts. But for the most part, the main distraction has been this heat,
Yeah. It's
kind of
rough.
dancing around the sun right now and finding ways to get that work in. And obviously now I'm getting in full pads. So we're ready to go.
Mhm.
We have a scrimmage next Wednesday, and we'll see. I mean, we can't do anything. Time tells on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So we can just put that work in and feel confident about the work that we put in and just go from there.
Gotcha. And then one final question for me. Besides the state championship, obviously, do you have any goals set for this upcoming season? Then you have any shout outs you want to give, like any group of players, any specific players that been working hard over the summer you think will have a big season upcoming?
We have several goals. We're definitely a goal oriented group. Short term and long term goals. The long term goal is to get to Sun Devil Stadium,
Mhm.
um, and represent our school. Another long term goal would be a region championship. We were able to secure a region championship last year, and so we're in a different region this year with a lot of very, very tough teams. So that'll speak volumes of our preparation if we were able to come out of that with the region championship. So a region
Yeah.
championship, but at the end of the day, going 1-0 each week, putting ourselves in a position to make the playoffs. And the ultimate goal is graduation, is getting these guys to graduate,
Of course,
you
yeah.
know, looking down the road for them. And
A big thank you to Coach Figueroa for his time this morning and allowing us to interview him on his upcoming football season with Marcos de Niza High School. The team went 9-1 in last year's regular season and are now looking to go even further in the playoffs. This has been Brendan Sodell, and go Varsity.